Great
or
segue. Let's talk about, you guys were the originators from Disciplined Agile. Where along the way did PMI come into the picture, and tell us a little bit about that recent, not too long ago history, and where PMI is with Disciplined Agile right now.
oh, gotta keep it
You
short.
Yeah.
But my position was 6 years ago. Scott and I stuck around for 3 years after before we left on amicable terms, by the way. No,
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
rumors
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, and it wasn't we didn't leave because our 3-year limit had occurred.
Nothing to do.
Yeah. No, we weren't. We were golden handcuffed in, of course, but we could have left on day one if we didn't, obviously.
No, it was just time for us to do something different. But
Yeah.
there was just not just to set any rumors straight. There was no agenda, nothing financial, nothing about
No,
that.
I actually I don't even know any rumors. I think the general sentiment was, from a lot of the people that I talked to, they were seriously concerned what that meant for Disciplined Agile, because you guys have a great reputation.
There's a lady who used to work for me who's now the product manager, Christy Muller. I still have regular calls. I just talked to her last week. So we're constant. She keeps me abreast of what's going on, and she asked me for advice about where this should go next. So we're still there. Still,
I think this is exemplified also by you sharing the names of the new product managers and people that are involved. My conversation with Joshua, who was very gregarious and very open, and I sent him your regards, and he was very complimentary of you guys. But I also noticed, and I want to mention this because one of the things that I do in my consulting work, I do some nonprofit consulting for an organization that's in the charitable field, and one of the things in the life cycle of developing a new organization is, how do you create something that's sustainable after you leave, right? And I think a lot of people who create concepts tie the product that they generate so strongly to themselves as a person. If you're talking about 7 Habits and Stephen Covey, or I'm using a weird example there. The danger of that process is that when that person dies, a good, valuable concept can float downriver as well, and be forgotten, because people are so associate the product with individuals. And I think, this is my impression. I think there's nothing wrong with. First of all, hats off to creating such a great product. I think it also shows a sign of greatness that you're willing to share it with the world and let it go a little bit, and let other people work on it. I think that shows more greatness than it does neglect in any form or fashion. So.
Thank you.
Like I said, I'll grill Joshua. I think one of the key things, beside a lot of the details that Joshua and we had a preliminary call after we talked originally. I think the one strategy I really want to kind of delve into with him, he mentioned that there's a new strategy from PMI, and part of the strategy is to kind of go away from the B2C to the B2B, which for an MBA, we love bullshit words like B2B and B2C. Nobody knows what the hell it means, but it sounds good. It's like top down and bottom up. You use that whenever in doubt. Now, I'm not going to discount what he's saying. I'm sure there's value to it, but I don't mean it's BS in the sense that the words are BS. But if you don't understand what that means, it's BS. And that's why I really look forward to really understanding what does PMI mean with a stronger focus on B2B. Does it refer to what you were talking about? Working more with CEOs, or does that mean working with consultancy firms, or does it mean that PMI is going to create a pool of experts that work together with organizations? What does that concretely mean? Is interesting. And I'm also going to kind of question him in a constructive sort of way. There's a lot of certifications out there. Some of them are still live, I think. A couple of them are still live. A couple of them are in hold. What's going to happen with that? I heard that everybody who has certification gets to keep their certification in posterity. But
you don't take.
It's for me. It's interesting. I kind of see myself as an informer of the community as best I can, and a promoter of good things, and that's why I ask questions like this.
So, Mark, do you want me to clarify a little bit about why they're moving from B2C to B2B? Or
I'd love to. I'd love to. Yeah, go ahead.
For people who don't know the acronyms, not too long ago, I didn't know them either. B2C, which has always been sort of PMI's strategy, which would be to sell certifications to individual practitioners and basically ignore management. So enable a bunch of project managers as PMPs, and that was their ticket. Well, it didn't work with DA because management had no idea what DA was. So you're getting all these people certified in Disciplined Agile and not getting any institutional traction, organizational traction, because management had no clue. Why? And I think it took a while for PMI to ask, why was DA successful prior to PMI and it didn't take off once we were in PMI? Well, it's because we were marketing to B2C. Our success, Mark, came from talking to executives, the Mike Nettles of the world, and
PMO leads as well. PMOs.
Executives are smart people, right? They get context.
Did you guys have certification before PMI?
Yeah.
Okay. We made DA certification, if that's what you mean.
Yeah.
The certification. Absolutely. Yeah. But it was fairly simple. We went into troubled organizations, right? And they were desperate for answers. They tried SAFe, they tried Scrum, not successful.
So, but sorry to interrupt you, just for the sake of understanding, are you saying that your focus was not so much on the certification, the certification was kind of probably a byproduct? Your actual focus was to facilitate change within organizations. And that's what the B2B means.
So first of all, we did not want a certification program because we were so cynical about the existing programs out there that make you a master after 2 days of training.
And they all crash and burn now.
I'm offended that you question my multiple certifications. No, I'm not.
But we kind of caved because people said, I'm going to your course, Mark, I want a certificate.
Yeah.
And employers said, we're going DA. How do I know I can find people who actually know this thing? So we kind of got pushed into and develop certifications.
I think certifications have this value, but people can misuse the purpose of it.
Yeah. So the top-down B2B, where now the B2B is a consulting organization like a Deloitte or whatever, going into the executive company like GE, selling them on the thing, and the GE goes, okay, go for it, and then boom, right? Six Sigma, GE, whatever.
Yeah, I think Six Sigma is a good example because they have certification as well, but the black belt, blue belt, yellow belt was actually part of the overall system. And you didn't buy, you could buy the certification, but it didn't help you unless the organization had bought into the Six Sigma.
Yes. Yes. So very simple idea. So so that's how we were successful, because at ICBC, it's an insurance company in British Columbia. The executive buys into it, CIO, and I say, okay, first thing, we got to train 300 people. And we did. So boom, you got 300 practitioners all of a sudden. Same thing with Papa John's, Panera, and all our other clients.
But the original contract was with Panera Bread. It was with Papa John. It wasn't. It wasn't. Hey, I'm Joe Smith, and I want to get certified according to Disciplined Agile, because I'm an idealist and it makes me feel good. But once I go into my company with this certification,
a very small amount of B2C, right? We would run the occasional public course, but 5% maybe 10. Go with 10. Like not a lot to worry. Like around.
Do you know, is PMI going to, in the B2B approach, or are they going to be accrediting, or whatever the term might be, so I don't use the word certification, consultancy firms, or is PMI going to try to do some of the consultancy itself?
I don't want to make any. We're not in a position.
I can ask dangerous questions.
So we could make suggestions, but we can't make any promises. But I would.
It's hard
to do that.
I used to be the VP of DA at PMI, right? I was responsible for the brand, and so I had these conversations with the board and with the executive leadership team. Part of the issue is they're not for profit. They're not in the business of doing consulting. So
I think it would be a lot less sticky if they would do a more inclusive. I think that's one of the things that made PMI so strong. If you compare it to IPMA is strong as well, but not as big as PMI. Is that to the advantage of local chapters, IPMA, every chapter could make its own money. They own, they could do their own certifications. I think what really drove PMI was this inclusive. There's plenty of space at the table, and PMI's focus is to be a hub for many players, B2B, B2C, individuals, groups, organizations.
But fundamentally, for B2B, you need boots on the ground. There is absolutely nothing around that. Right? You need boots on the ground, and you need boots that know what they're doing. Yeah. So they're going to need
dedication, time and dedication, resources, capabilities.
So there's got to be a business model there that's attractive to the Deloittes of the world or to Joshua's company, like small companies, medium companies, right? The consultants have got to make some money, and because they got mortgages to pay and all that sort of stuff.
I can see PM. Yeah, I can see PMI. Go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, so PMI is not able to.
Yeah,
because they don't consult, right? And they don't train. They train the trainers, and there's training organizations that deliver PMI content, but PMI doesn't, right? Other than the digital stuff. Same thing with consulting, right? There's got to be blessed consulting organizations that can deliver, and it's not just a DA thing, right? Like there's other things in PMI that I would say the exact same thing. Like there's you want to bring risk management out to the world. Well, there needs to be some coaching there. Like there needs to be training, obviously. There needs to be other things, but certainly there needs to be coaching and consulting. So I do enable consulting organizations to do that.
I do see PMI changing its model a little bit and cutting into the training sphere because technology allows it. Yeah, but I agree with you. I think the trying to do the consulting part would be a daunting thing, and it's I think they'd be smarter to use the SAP model. SAP says, you know what, we'll implement some of our own projects, but those are really handpicked. The trough is big, and many organizations out there will sell our product willingly if we allow them to do the implementation. I think that's a good strategy.
So pre-PMI, we support, like we had partner consulting organizations that we supported, right? So if you were a DA consulting, or like not ours, but another DA consulting organization, then they could bring us in to do an executive workshop or do some training or do just some marketing stuff to enable them to then put their own boots on the ground and run with a multi-year effort, right? So I could see PMI doing something like that, where they've got a cadre of like a small internal group that consults to the consultants.
Yeah. I think the PMI is also gotten better in accepting the fact that people love organizations because of people and not because of organizations. Okay. The whole fact that, for example, Lee Lambert, who I'm sure you're familiar with, I had him on one of my podcasts. The fact that, he's a rabid, wonderful cheerleader for PMI, and that PMI, gives him, spotlight and air to breathe. I think that's what make, the personal touch, if you know somebody, if people know you, then they have a different feeling towards Disciplined Agile. And actually, I hope
if there's any chapter presidents or members watching this right now, I highly suggest bringing Lee in as a speaker if you can get a hold of him.
I've already had Lee on here. I've already pitched him. For those chapter presidents who are looking for great speakers, are you two guys available?
Yeah, we are. And Joshua, let's give a shout out to Joshua. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Good. A couple of months ago, University of Maryland flew me out to be their opening keynote. And, I gave them a very good deal, put it that way, because I kind of consider it a way of give back. So I love to speak and love to share. As you can tell, we're quite passionate about this. and
absolutely.
The joy it gives us to see people starting to laugh again in the trenches rather than fight and bicker and be miserable. You spend so much time in the office of your life. You deserve to be happy. And I can say with complete honesty that every single time Scott and I leave an organization,